What if the very moment you feel like giving up is the exact moment your breakthrough is about to be born? You stand at the edge of collapse, convinced you cannot take one more step, but what if the enemy's loudest whisper right now, "Quit," is only because he knows your obedience on the other side of this test will shake his grip on your destiny? You cannot see the end, you cannot feel the strength, but you must understand this shocking truth. Surrendering now is not relief, it is robbery, because quitting robs you of the very miracle you have prayed for. Few people realize that the deepest weariness of your soul, the place where you silently decide you are finished, is the exact place heaven watches most closely, because in that hidden chamber of your heart is where eternity is shaped. You are not the first to want to lay it all down. Moses begged God to take his life, Elijah collapsed under a broom tree crying, "It is enough." Jeremiah cursed the day he was born, even Paul despaired of life itself, yet not one of them was abandoned, and neither are you. The darkness you feel right now is not proof of God's absence, it is proof that the fight is real, because no one fights over what has no value. If the battle is crushing you, it means your life carries weight in the kingdom, and the warning you must hear today is this: if you quit, you will never know what would have bloomed from your perseverance. You have told yourself quietly, "I cannot keep going like this," and heaven has heard it, but heaven is not accusing you, it is arming you. Galatians 6 verse 9 declares, "Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not." That one condition, "if you faint not," means the harvest is not denied, it is only delayed by quitting. Satan cannot steal your destiny, but he can seduce you into walking away from it. He whispers that nothing is changing, but secretly things are moving in unseen realms, because God works behind curtains where eyes cannot see. You want evidence now, you want relief now, but Hebrews 10 verse 36 warns, you need endurance, so that after you have done the will of God you may receive what is promised. Endurance is not glamorous. Endurance is sweat, tears, aching bones, and nights of silence, yet endurance is also the birthplace of glory. Think about this. The seed does not sprout on the day it is buried, it wrestles underground in darkness where no one applauds it. You are that seed. The soil feels suffocating, the darkness feels endless, but the root is being strengthened before the fruit can be seen. If you quit in the soil, you never touch the sunlight. Do not despise the season where no one sees you, because that hidden obedience is forging a foundation strong enough to carry what God is building on you. Romans 8 verse 18 promises, "The sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us." The glory is coming, but only revealed in those who do not walk away. Yes, you are tired. Yes, you are hurt. Yes, people have betrayed you. The prayers seem unanswered, the doors remain closed. But if pain was a sign that God was done with you, the cross would never have been followed by resurrection. Jesus himself cried, my God, why have you forsaken me?" at his lowest point, but what looked like abandonment was actually the moment of greatest fulfillment. Your lowest valley may secretly be your highest calling in disguise. I know the heaviness you carry, the way your chest feels crushed when no one is watching, the nights where tears soak your pillow, the mornings where dread greets you before sunlight does. You scroll through encouragements, you try to smile, but inside you are screaming, "I can't." Yet listen, Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, they shall mount up with wings as eagles, they shall run and not be weary, they shall walk and not faint." Renewal does not come before the waiting, it comes because of the waiting. You want to quit because you feel weak, but weakness is the exact soil where God plants his strength. Paul begged for his thorn to be removed, but God answered, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." That means your weakness is not disqualification, it is invitation. Do you realize that the enemy cannot stop God's promises, so he targets your endurance instead? He doesn't need you to commit some grand betrayal, he just wants you to quietly surrender your post, to silently fold your hands and walk away. The shocking truth is that hell celebrates not when you fall, but when you fail to rise again. Proverbs 24 verse 16 says, "Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." Your righteousness is not proven by never falling, but by refusing to stay down. Quitting is not falling, quitting is staying. Think about Joseph, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, locked in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He had every reason to quit on his dream. But if Joseph had surrendered to despair in that dungeon, he would never have sat on the throne of Egypt and saved nations from famine. David was hunted, mocked, and forced into caves. If he had quit under the pressure, he would never have worn the crown. Ruth buried her husband and faced a life of obscurity, but because she refused to quit on loyalty, her name entered the lineage of Christ. Every testimony of glory is written in the ink of perseverance. And here is a secret few people talk about. Quitting doesn't just affect you. It ripples. When you surrender, you don't just lay down your calling, you bury the blessings that were meant to flow through you into others. Someone's deliverance is tied to your persistence. Someone's encouragement depends on your endurance. Someone's salvation may be waiting on the other side of your testimony. If you quit now, you may never see the generations you were meant to impact. You say, "But I've failed too many times." Listen carefully. Failure is not final when placed at the feet of Jesus. Peter denied him 3 times, and yet became the rock on which the church was built. You say, "But I'm not strong enough." Good, because Philippians 4 verse 13 says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Strength is not something you conjure, it is something He gives. You say, "But I don't see the way." That is why Proverbs 3 verse 5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Sight is not the requirement, trust is. Right now, you may feel like you are carrying a hidden weight no one knows, a silent struggle that is eating you alive. You wear a mask, you smile when expected, but inside you are crumbling. The warning is this: if you let the mask win, if you let the silence consume you, the enemy will convince you that you are alone. But you are not alone. God is with you in the cave, in the prison, in the pit, in the valley. Psalm 34 verse 18 says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." The very place you think God has left you is the very place He is closest. Do not quit. Not because it is easy, not because you feel strong, but because the God who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Philippians 1 verse 6 assures it. You may not finish perfectly, but He will perfect you in the finishing. Quitting is handing the pen of your story to the enemy. Persevering is letting God write the final chapter. And His endings are always redemptive. So stand. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, then at least don't move backward. Breathe. Whisper His name. Grip one verse and hold it until light breaks through. Say like Job, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." Say like Habakkuk, "Though the fig tree does not blossom, yet I will rejoice." Say like Paul, "I press on toward the mark." Because every time you choose to press forward when quitting would be easier, chains in the unseen realm snap. And here is the final warning and the final encouragement. The urge to quit is often strongest right before the breakthrough. Labor pains intensify before birth. Battles rage fiercest before victory. The night is darkest just before dawn. If you walk away now, you may be one prayer short of the answer, one day short of the miracle, one step short of the open door. Do not let quitting be the thief that steals your tomorrow. So hear this challenge: lift your head, dry your tears, Square your shoulders and declare, "I will not quit." Not because you are fearless, but because perfect love casts out fear. Not because you are unbreakable, but because the treasure inside you is stronger than the clay jar that carries it. Not because you know the outcome, but because you know the author. Keep fighting, keep believing, keep walking. You are closer than you think. Don't quit now. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. If this word ignited something in your spirit, subscribe to Faith Ablaze Network and join a family that refuses to give up. Your fight isn't over, and your victory is already written. Stay the course. God bless you.